Welcome to my podcast, Chat with Loki. It's about sharing stories of grit, resilience, wisdom from unseen, unheard, everyday heroes of life. Hey Patrick, how are you?
Good, thanks, Loki. How are you?
Good. Welcome back.
Thanks
You know
for
why
having
you're
me.
here today again?
You tell me, Loki. I'm not sure. I'm worried.
Nothing to be worried, but you're back here on popular demand.
Okay.
Whatever you said in our previous chat, for some reason, it has resonated with many people. But at the same time, you said so many things so simple, easy. It's almost like it can be done easily.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, it seems like it's not as easy as what you said. So I would like to go a little bit more into some of the things we discussed, but maybe a little bit better understanding for audience out there who are saying, okay, how do I go with this? How do I do this? We talk a lot about true self, a lot about thoughts, a lot about mind, body, spirit, psychology versus spirituality, all important topics. Mm-hmm. And so I would really like to, some of the questions which I have is based on my own experiences. Mm-hmm. So the biggest challenge right now, this is what I think, the biggest challenge is relationships. Mm-hmm. This higher divorce rate, dating has become, everyone agrees with it, but still no one comes out of it. So what's your understanding of people who are looking to find a good partner in this modern age?
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, things were different. Probably in the last 10 to 15 years, social media, the way we meet people, the way we look for life partner has changed. Yeah. So what's your basic understanding of how do you see relationships now, and why it seems like, the stat seems like 60%, close to 60% mm-hmm. divorce rates in Western societies.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of possible answers that I can have, or a couple of elements to those answers.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is the thing that makes the most successful relationship is making it about your relationship with yourself.
Okay.
So most of the time what we do is we just try to seek a relationship externally and not really understand ourselves. So then we go into a relationship with all of our own triggers and all of our own imbalances.
Yeah.
And then we find someone who kind of matches those imbalances.
Okay.
And because if we didn't match, we wouldn't last in that relationship.
Okay.
But the more we know ourselves and go into the relationship as a more solid foundation with who we are, we're more likely going to meet someone who's very similar to who we are and work on that together. So I think the most important thing is really your relationship with yourself. Are we looking for love just externally, or are we giving ourselves that love? Are we understanding that part of ourselves?
How do we know that? Because I'm just thinking about a single male or a single female. So they're well settled. Mm-hmm. They have all the money in the world. They don't have any issues with basic needs and all those things, but they feel empty. Mm. They're looking. And they are on dating websites, they meet people, but nothing leads to the next step.
Yeah.
And in this process, it also seems like they attract a lot of the same stereotype. How do these individuals break that?
Well, a lot of the time, if we're looking, there's different ways to look. So I can be at peace being single and still look for a relationship.
Okay.
A lot of people, you said they feel empty, and most people aren't comfortable with feeling empty. And when I kind of liken it to when I'm really, really, really hungry, I'll just want to eat anything. I don't stop to contemplate what I want to eat. I'll eat anything in front of me, whether it's healthy for me or not.
Okay.
If I'm a little bit okay with my hunger, then I get more conscious choice over what I eat. That's the same with if I'm feeling lonely or empty. If I'm okay with it, then I get more conscious choice of who I choose. But if I'm not okay with it, I'm going to make all the wrong choices and make all emotional choices just to fill that void of just having someone instead of having a good one for me or a good person for me.
So what I'm hearing is you need to take a moment, almost like a pause, and say, I don't need this as a rush. I just simply need to first see what I'm looking. Or instead of going into those like, it's Friday now, I need to meet someone. Instead of going into those, also there's body needs, and of course there's other aspects as well. And on that note, some people take 5-6 years break. And they say, I'm trying to find myself. And I've seen enough where they go and do a lot of things like retreats and, I don't know, healing this, healing that, and all those things. In that process, they don't allow anyone. Is that a good thing?
It can be, because in that process, they're finding themselves and they're loving themselves. Part of being okay with our emptiness is being okay in my own company, not needing other people's company. And that is part of loving yourself, just being okay with who you are and where you are.
Okay.
And anything on top of that is an added bonus. And when we look at it like that, then again, like I said before, is we choose better partners. But not only that, we, in terms of our energetic presence, is we actually attract partners that match our own energy then. So if I'm in a more loving state, I'm more likely going to find someone who matches me. If I'm more in a self-hating state, I'm more likely going to find a more critical partner that really doesn't give me the love that I truly want, just the love that I'm used to having for myself.
Okay. So in this process, men look for things differently than women. I don't know the psychology behind it, but more from a common sense, I think there is physical attraction and also there is emotional connection. Based on my understanding, women are looking for that emotional connection, that feeling of connectivity. And that's why there's a lot of things are done in a different way. And men are physically attracted. And then I hear after you start that physical relationship, the emotional connection comes later. What's the psychology behind it? Before the psychology, just tell me if I'm saying anything which makes sense.
It does make sense, and I'll just probably say they're stereotypical. So everyone's going, like, stereotypically, that's how men would generally do it, and that's how females would do it. Everyone's got different balance of masculine and feminine energy, so there are differences between the genders. But overall, that is generally how it works. In terms of the psychology of it, I'm really not sure about the psychology of it. I think it probably would have some evolutionary aspect to it. So I think evolutionary, a man is going to look for someone who evolutionary bears children and looks in a way that bears children. And then as we developed as a civilization, the way we saw beauty was like a practical thing before. So can they bear children? Can they look after the children? Are they strong enough? But as it went by, beauty changed. Our ideas of beauty changed. So then men would kind of say, well, this is what the good attribute is now, even without realizing why we learned that's a good attribute anymore. I think females want to feel more supported. You know, if they are looking after their families or having children, they need that support. They need someone there that is going to help them do all the things required and ensure their genetic offspring survives from an evolutionary perspective. And I think we have evolved since then, but we've just evolved to new belief systems. And I think there's still some background of those original perceptions that still persevere today.
Wow, okay. So there's a bit of evolutionary and also the modern conditioning, I would say, would have given a different layer of approaching. Okay, so the other thing is I remember there was a research or a study where they asked females versus males, what do you look in your partner? So I think there was like 50 or 100 questions. And after asking 1,000 or 100, I don't know the exact number, but 90% of the males came up with only three things. The other 95%, whatever it is not relevant for them in finding a life partner. But when it comes to females, they were like 50 or 60 things they're looking for in a man. What's your thoughts on that?
I think if your list is too long, you're generally going to create problems for yourself. I think there's important elements to look for with what you want in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it might be like having maybe 10 things on that list.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to look at what are the important things on that list as well. Am I just putting something on the list because I'm being fussy, or is my self-esteem coming in the way here?
Yeah.
A lot of the times we have things on our list because we want that person to fill our needs for that situation or for that quality.
Yeah.
What I'd also suggest is, can I do that for myself without needing that person for that? So I want someone to be kind. I want that on my list.
Yeah.
Which is great, but am I being kind to myself? So we want to bring in like whatever I'm wanting to give out. I'm saying, am I willing to give that myself, and I'm willing to give it to myself? Am I willing to give it to my partner?
Yeah.
But I'm also willing to give that to myself.
But I think that's the main reason why we look for a partner, is to make our life easy, because it's difficult to work on ourselves.
Well, we are ignoring ourselves or avoiding ourselves then.
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily, there's lots of, you mentioned the divorce rate is 60%. That's not a very easy life if that's really what we're after.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a shortcut to what we think is easy, but it actually doesn't evolve into an easier life. It actually evolves into a harder emotional life.
True. So that's where I think it's also becoming a cycle where, you break, and then you take, a break to work on yourself, and then you think, okay, yeah, now I'm ready to get back. And then you get back, and then another round happens, 5 years, 10 years later, gone again. That's becoming a norm. And in this process, of course, kids are also being impacted. But before talking about the kids, so the stats and the rates and all these things, is this all because of their childhood?
Usually our coping mechanisms in our relationships are usually a reflection of how we've learned to cope through our own emotions from our childhood.
Yeah.
And the relationships we've witnessed. A lot of times the way we learn to love ourselves or love others is from what we've seen.
Okay.
So in a sense, what's going to happen in that is that I'm going to love myself a certain way, and it's going to feel familiar. So even if I've been loved critically, that's going to feel familiar to me. So in a sense, our mind craves familiarity because familiarity means safety in our mind.
Yeah. Okay.
And so what I'll find in a partner is because I have that, I won't see the warning signs of someone who's critical of me. I'll just feel like that's loving of me.
Okay. Yeah.
And so eventually, though, I'm not going to like being criticized all the time.
Yeah.
So that's going to generally mean that we fall apart.
Yeah.
Could also, there's other examples, like I feel like I'm someone who's normally doesn't speak up very much.
Yeah.
So I've learned not to speak up for my needs.
Yeah.
So I go to a partner who's maybe very demanding, and I just say yes, yes, yes all the time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But eventually I just get sick of saying yes, and I'm unhappy in this relationship because I'm never getting my needs met.
Yes.
And then we blame that on the partner. But at the end of the day, if we recognized ourselves that I'm someone who doesn't ask for my needs or doesn't advocate for myself,
Yeah.
then how am I ever going to find someone who gives me what I want if I can't actually speak it?
True. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I need to digest that. Not able to meet the needs is really one of the key elements of either holding a relationship or breaking a relationship. Because again, the needs can change depending on who you are and the gender aspect as well. Again, this is something based on my curiosity. I read a lot of these stats or reports or readings. Men connect emotionally after physical, because men feels that, okay, that's the place of connectivity, but the females don't allow that physical moments, connection, if they're not feeling the emotional. So it's almost like a chicken and egg situation. That's predominantly where I think if we take a step back and look into that deeply, maybe there is a way to communicate and do all the things. But how does a modern male or a female understand this and then, work through this?
Yeah. And a lot of times it is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And if two people know themselves, it's great. But then knowing myself is also knowing how far I'm willing to compromise, how far I'm willing to budge from where I really feel is most comfortable for me.
Yeah.
So if we move too far, that relationship probably won't last.
Okay.
But if we move to a place where we can kind of say, well, this is where we feel most comfortable, I'm willing to go out of my comfort zone a little bit, and you're willing to go out of your comfort zone a little bit, we can find those happy mediums. Okay. It doesn't have to mean I just say, well, I need to have sex in order to connect with you, or no, you need to love me before I have sex with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. A lot of the times, though, particularly within that, you have to move with the person who's willing to go at the slowest pace, either way. So particularly from a physical standpoint, just don't want to say, well, I'm just going to have sex with you whether you want it or not. Like we don't want that. So in a sense, we're kind of saying, well, no, I want to connect to you, and we want to find that balance.
Yeah.
And what you'll generally find in relationships is, say, the woman might hold back a little bit, and this is definitely stereotypical again.
Yes.
So the woman might hold back a little bit, and as they connect a bit more, the man might push a little bit more. She might feel a little bit safer, and they sort of slowly bridge that gap.
Yeah.
But the more a person knows themselves, the more they know how far they're willing to push out of their comfort zone and how far they're willing to stay stronger with what they really feel is important for them or true to them.
Okay. There's a lot going on with men's mental health. They say be vulnerable, speak the truth, all those things. And again, this is based on many men saying, yes, we have done this in the past and we got burnt. Those things were used against us. So in a relationship, both people go through emotions. That's guaranteed. But females are very expressive of emotions, and men take it. And I do think men have the capacity and capability to take the emotions. But to express is a different topic. Mm-hmm. So the men who expressed have been burnt, or whatever's been expressed has been seen or used against them as weakness, or all those things. So there's a lot of conversation going again in social media, and there's a lot of reports and all those things. What's your thoughts on this? Should men express everything to the partner or to the friends?
Well, I don't think it's always necessary for any of the partners to express everything all the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's about discerning the important things to express.
Okay.
I think mostly the issue with men is that men are generally quite disconnected from their emotions. So you can't actually express an emotion you're not aware of.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the ones that the men will generally become aware of will be their anger, frustration, annoyance. That's usually the emotion they're aware of.
Yeah.
But their anger, frustration, and annoyance is generally a secondary emotion.
Okay.
So underneath that, we want to say, what am I feeling underneath this? So I feel really disappointed that you didn't do that for me.
Yeah.
But instead of saying I feel disappointed, I'm getting angry that you didn't do that for me.
Right.
Or I feel really hurt that you said that about me, but I'm angry at you because you said that about me. So a lot of times if we are going to express it, we do want to express the vulnerable feeling there.
Yeah.
And so that the person understands what I'm actually feeling, not just the response of anger to that thing.
Right. So we're not choosing the right words.
Or we're not understanding what we're really feeling.
Right. Okay.
Because if you know what you're really feeling, you're just able to choose the words of what you're feeling.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We're just generally men are getting stuck in their anger or numbness. They're usually the two emotions that are more masculine.
Oh, that's where the escape also happens.
Mm. Yeah.
Right.
And it's very subconscious. We don't try to do that. We're just very good at doing that. I know that even me, I spent a lot of time in numbness. So things would happen, I'd just be numb to it.
Yeah.
Then I had to learn to reconnect back to what my emotions really were.
Right. Wow. Okay. So it's more like, again, it's an inner work rather than, trying to feel distant.
Yeah, well, I always say if you work on the inner before you go outer, that's really the way I say it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just projecting everything that's imbalanced inner outwards.
Okay. And what happens in the journey of inner work there's a lot of confusion between ego versus being honestly listening to yourself. How can you simplify that? I'm just more talking here from a young male perspective. So there's more educated people now on the planet, and majority are let's say, they have jobs and they can, doesn't need to rely on other people that much. And in this process, men are also not needed kind of messages going on there. There's a reason why I'm asking this. They have done a social experiment, some influencers. They went and asked all the young females, do you need a man? I think more than 90% just said, nah, they're idiots, they're stupid, we don't need them. And then they went and asked the same thing for the boys or males. And 90% said, yes, we need them. What happened there? I'm still scratching my head on that.
I'm not sure. I can't tell you for sure with that. I haven't seen that study at all.
Yeah.
If I had to guess anything, I'd say there'd be a level of social norm now would be to say, no, I don't need anyone else. I don't need a man. It's kind of like the swing from before where women traditionally or stereotypically would say, yes, I need a man just to be able to live my life.
Yeah.
And it would be, well, no, I don't want that anymore, so I'm going to swing to the other side. And a lot of times that's what does happen.
Yeah.
Males probably haven't swung the other way yet, where there was, I can do it on my own, but a woman just helps support me to move that way.
Yeah.
Generally, if anything swung too far, it's going to come back to the middle eventually. And so, and at the end of the day, I think it's useful not to need a partner. So needing a man or needing a woman probably isn't useful.
Okay.
It's wanting is fine. Needing is where the problem becomes a problem. Because then I'm not okay on my own. I'm not okay unless I have that. And then there's very loaded what that relationship has to mean if I need you in it.
Okay. Yeah. So on that's more on a spiritual or let's say the inner work aspect, like saying I'm complete and whatever happens with whoever comes into my life, we're going to complement the journey. We're going to bring the best in each, or we're going to learn from each other. That should be an ideal relationship. Also, there was another one. I don't know. There's just something came up. There was another question asked. It wasn't a question, but it just went viral. Females said, "I rather choose a night or be with a bear lost in the jungle than with a man." And again, that went a little bit more viral, is the mindset and the mentality, what's going on. This is mainly young generation, young people. And as you said, yes, the pendulum might swing back to balance. But is this something to do with the technology or the upbringing or mix of everything?
I'm not sure about that, but generally if someone's making a statement like that, they're usually making a statement from their own pain, from their own hurt. And when we feel hurt, we then make our decisions based on fear of getting hurt again.
Okay.
So what they're saying, generally saying, I've been hurt by certain men and I'd rather be with a bear than the certain men who have hurt me.
So you'd rather bear eats you than be with a man.
But that's what they're saying about their emotional responses.
Right.
That's what their fear is saying. But again, it's like saying all women are the same, all men are the same, all dogs are the same. They're not. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
You're just basing your decision on your own experiences.
Yes.
And our own experiences are generally going to be a reflection of our own inner self.
Yeah. So inner self, inner work, true self, all these things. You know what? It has become a really a kind of a hashtag. Everyone talks about it.
Yeah, everyone's writing books about it.
Everyone writing. So it's for a simple, uneducated, non-intellect. What is this? It's. I know there's an intellectual way of explaining it. I think you did explain that in our previous chat. But what I'm really asking here is, okay, no one read a book. No one understands all the things in life. They're just simple, plain human being. How do we explain to them saying, what is this inner work? What is this true self and stuff? Really good human being.
Yeah. I think the easiest way I can say it is our inner self could be our soul. Our true self is our soul.
Okay.
And what our soul does is it interacts with our mind, with our thinking, and with our emotions and body.
Yeah.
And what we confuse ourselves at is our thinking and our emotions and body. Whereas they're tools that our soul will use to live its journey.
Right.
So
Okay.
overall, the more we can connect to the soul part of us, our true self part of us, and that's usually through connecting to our own intuition. That's how it usually communicates to us.
Okay.
So the more we can connect to that and not get lost in the conditioning,
Yeah.
then that's how we're living more of our true self. Sometimes to do that, though, we want to be aware of what our conditioning is, and that's really where it's the important part.
When you say aware, that's that soul and spirit really being aware, or is the mind?
Well, the soul and spirit is what's being aware of the mind,
Yeah.
but it's being aware of what our mind thinks, how it thinks, the thoughts it has, and the reasons it has those thoughts, and whether it actually serves us to live our most peaceful life.
Right. So it's really hard for individuals to think there is something else beyond mind and body. The moment you talk spirit and soul, I think 90% of the population are dead, like
Yeah.
in the mind.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, what the hell these guys are talking about? Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, this is my body. I don't believe in anything else.
Yeah. So if you're doing that, then I'd really suggest what you can do is just work on just having a more peaceful mind. So just being aware of when your mind is actually saying things that makes you feel bad. You don't
Yeah.
have to believe in soul. You just have to believe that you want peace.
Yeah.
Because generally our peace is influenced by what our mind is saying. And our mind says what it's learnt to say, what it's been taught and programmed to say.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell us always what's useful or beneficial for us. It just tells us how it's used to seeing the world. But we can change how we think, and we can change how we think to feel better.
Yeah.
Me, working as a psychologist, I don't teach spirituality in my psychology.
Okay.
I only just teach people how to find peace again.
Yeah.
So you don't have to believe in anything. Your job is to say, do I want more peace? And if it's about having more peace, then it is about shifting my mindset.
Is there a timeline for that? Like, let's say, I know we live in a takeaway, life. Everyone wants everything done by the weekend, especially with the AI and all these things. And let's say someone has anxiety. I've seen this in young people a lot. They're always thinking about, what do I need to do tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or a week later? I had a lot of examples in my personal life. Mm-hmm. And I always say, let's just enjoy the lunch, or let's just, do whatever. So mind is busy. It's always listening to music or watching something on TV or on phone and all those things. And majority adults as well are in the same process. For a person like that, you say, oh, hey, let's say they want peace. Mm-hmm. And they're ready to make changes. They're ready to work on themselves. Without spending money, without spending, let's say, going to these courses and all those things, is there a way for a normal human being to practice with whatever they have to attain, or not attain, be in the right path to get to that peace?
So when I first started this journey, or particularly choosing more peaceful thoughts,
yeah,
the first part to understand is when we're not feeling at peace. So the first step would just be being aware when I'm not feeling well or not feeling great emotionally.
Okay.
So it could be I feel sad, angry, hurt, betrayed, not good enough. So the first step I'd say is just be aware of what you're actually feeling.
Okay. How do I get there? I know. I would really want to grill this, because that's the key element where I feel restless. Mm-hmm. I feel this is what a lot of people go through. I feel restless. I'm frustrated because someone pissed me off, or I didn't have enough money to pay the bills, or someone in the family member is just really doing there's a million things. And normally what my mind, I'm just taking, as an example, as a metaphor, I'll find a good movie to watch or a good book to read. These are my ways of, or go for a run or whatever it is. They're not bad, they're still good. That's my way of saying, you know what, I need to get on with my day.
Yeah.
And I get on with my day, and then again it happens tomorrow, day after tomorrow. And most of this stuff is external.
Yeah. But what happens? What's happening? What you're missing in all of that, you're missing how are you feeling?
Yeah.
You're feeling something, that's why you're going for a run. You're feeling something, that's why you're reading a book.
Yeah.
But you're not stopping to say, how am I feeling? So you might say, I feel sad about what's happening.
Yeah.
Or I might feel hurt about what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's actually about understanding what's my feeling to what's happening.
Okay. So I feel sad that one of my family member is going through a relationship issue.
Sure.
What do I do?
The next step I'd say is, what must I be thinking? What must I believe in order to feel sad? I'd say 90% of our emotions are caused by our beliefs.
Right.
So it might be that they're really suffering and I can't stand seeing them suffer.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it through this. They might find it too hard. So you're going to have certain beliefs about what's going on. It's not fair what's going on for them.
Yeah.
That would be another belief.
Yeah.
A lot of those beliefs, while they might seem realistic to you,
Yeah.
they're not generally going to be peaceful ways of looking at the scenario.
No.
So that's how I started doing it. I started saying, this is what I feel, this is what I'm believing. Then what I started doing was I started playing a game. And I started playing the game was, how many peaceful beliefs can I have about the scenario that I do believe though? I can't just lie to myself. I can't say, no, they're fine, even though I feel like they're struggling.
Okay. So understand the situation and be aware what you're feeling. And then in that there's two parts. Why I'm feeling, and in that why I'm feeling, you might get a peaceful feeling or you might get a not so peaceful feeling. Is that right?
Generally, you won't get a peaceful feeling if you're feeling bad.
Yes.
You won't have a peaceful perception if you're feeling bad.
So you choose the lesser.
Well, first you catch what you're thinking.
Okay. Yeah.
So you'd be aware of how have I learnt to perceive this?
Yeah.
So that's the first step.
Yeah.
Then you decide, do I want to think about this in a way that serves me better?
Okay.
Do I want to think about this in a way that's more peaceful for me?
Even though it's not in my control,
Well,
the situation.
But the perception is in your control.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what we're talking about. We're not trying to control the scenario. We're trying to control our perceptions.
The perception of how we are perceiving the scenario.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
So our beliefs are, we've got our original perceptions or beliefs.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can't control them. They're there as well.
Yeah.
But moving forward, we can choose how would I prefer to perceive this.
Yes.
But we can't just, if I've learned to perceive something as terrible,
Yeah.
I'm not automatically going to believe it as great. So we can't really just go from day to night or night to day.
Yeah.
A lot of times our job is to find what's the most peaceful perceptions I can find from where I'm at.
Right.
Doesn't mean I find the most peaceful I can ever find. It's what's the most peaceful I can find from here. But that is a choice.
Yes.
There's a choice to think about things in a different way.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we just simply need to slow down and observe our own perception.
Yeah, that's right. And our own emotions.
So instead of watching a big, distractive movie.
But sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you might need the distraction. It might be too much, too intense at that time. So you might need that. But if you keep avoiding looking at yourself.
Yeah. If it's repeating, you got to at some point pause and say, why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, why this is repeating to me, and why it's bothering me. And in that process, you start to unpack.
That's right.
And that's already progress towards peace.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So sometimes finding peace is actually understanding what's taking away my peace.
Yes, yeah. So whatever is annoying, whatever is sad, whatever is anger, all these emotions can be unpacked without going anywhere, without doing anything, but just simply asking yourself and find a place where you can have a honest conversation with yourself. So you mentioned about a game. What game you play?
So the game was, what are some ways, like tried to get creative, what are some other ways to perceive this scenario?
Yeah.
So, say example, so I get frustrated in traffic. I know I do, and I perceive
Yeah.
it as, that car driver should have, moved to the left lane. They should be driving faster. They should
Yeah.
be following the speed limit or going
Yeah.
faster than the speed limit, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So that's how my habitual perception is.
Yes.
Then I sort of play a game. I kind of say, well, what are some other ways to look at them? I say, well, I like driving safe.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I believe that. That's fine. I also like seeing people be able to use roads. I like that roads exist.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a road than a dirt track.
Yes.
So even if this is bad, that someone's not moving fast, it's way better than this other alternative.
Yeah.
So I just get other ways of looking at it. I don't say, isn't it great that this guy's in front of me keeping me still? I don't say that. I don't try to lie to myself. I don't try to tell myself things I can't believe.
So to get to that stage, you need to go through these 5 or 6 scenarios.
Well,
Or perceptions.
yeah, well, your job, the whole game is how many can I find? It's kind of doing it like an
Yes,
exploratory. What are some other ways I could look at this that maybe gives me more peace?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way of looking into it. Something is protecting me here rather than, annoyance, what I feel on the top, on the surface.
Yeah, and when we do it like a game as well, we don't, it's less stakes. Like a lot of times we get too serious. I have to find the best thought right now. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So the pressure stops us from being able to think in a different way.
True.
So
Yeah,
when we do it a bit more like a game, we're kind of saying, all right, can I choose something that maybe serves me a little bit more? Can I be a bit more lighthearted about how I see this?
Yeah. No, that's really good. So I think for our audience, it's fair to say, next time when there is any emotion which is not peaceful, they need to find time to ask within themselves why they're feeling the way they're feeling.
What are they
And
thinking?
what they're thinking, thinking, and then see different layers or different solutions come
Yeah, or think about, can I look at it differently?
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably for 90% of the time.
Okay.
For let's say I lose someone I love through death.
Yeah.
So I don't have to think in order to feel sad about that. I'm just going to feel sad.
Yeah.
And in that case, can I be just okay to feel sad in that case? I don't have to change my thoughts too much.
Yeah.
But I can be aware if any of my thoughts are making it worse.
Yes.
So there are things in life that we're just going to have emotions without too much thought attached.
True.
But 90% of the time, I work on the odds. So I would say
Yes,
90%
yes.
of the time, this is the way to do it.
Okay, that's great. So with all this, let's come back to these relationships and stuff. There is a nice person versus a good person analogy. Nice man versus a good man. Nice woman versus a good woman. So again, there's a definitions made, but it doesn't mean that's written in stone. They say nice people are people pleasers, and that's why they go through the same cycles of breakups or being used in a relationship. And the good people have boundaries, values, and morals. What's the psychology behind it? Do you agree with it? With this concept?
Well, in terms of nice people are generally people pleasers.
Okay.
But what they're not good at doing is pleasing themselves.
Right.
And so in a sense, they're external pleasers rather than internal pleasers.
So on the surface, they're always trying to look nice, even though they're not, there's emptiness within them.
Generally, because what usually those people, and we've
Yeah.
all got elements of that too, it's not
Yes,
like one
yes.
or the other,
Yeah.
but usually those people are seeking approval and they're scared to get disapproval. So then they just say yes. They don't want to they don't want to rock the boat in any way. They just want to be approved of or loved.
Okay.
So they don't want to rock the boat in a way that, if I say no to you, that you might get angry at me. So I'll just say yes.
Yeah. It happens a lot in business relationships as well. Some individuals work so hard and they don't increase their fees for the services. And I asked a few people recently, and I said, I don't want to rock the boat because who knows, the client might go somewhere else. Is it something similar in relationships as well, where you don't want to say it thinking it might have a different consequence?
Yeah. it is very similar. Sometimes with businesses, if I say something,
Yeah.
it might mean I lose my business, I lose my livelihood, I lose my house. Like there might be more to lose
More
than
to
that. rather than I lose someone who just doesn't like me anymore.
Yeah.
So, but even then, like sometimes in relationships, if I don't realize I'm a people pleaser, a lot of times I'll continue doing it because now if I say what I want, I'll lose not just my wife, I'll lose my kids, I'll lose my house. So,
Yeah.
so it can still go down that level.
Yes.
Eventually, though, if you're a people pleaser for too long,
Yeah.
eventually you're going to start feeling dissatisfied. You're going to start feeling resentful that they're getting all their needs met and I'm not getting mine.
Yeah.
And then we feel it's their fault that they're taking too much rather than realizing they can only take what I give.
Okay. You think that's where this midlife crisis is happening? Because you continue to provide, give, work, pay bills and all those things. And then mid-40s or 50s, you say, nah, I'll start living for myself. I've been too nice. And, from a male perspective and also from a female perspective, mid-40s is the age where 70% of divorces or breakups is initiated. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not making this up. It just, it's the stats.
Yeah. I think overall that the more sorry, just repeat the question for me, sorry.
So is that being too nice leading to midlife crisis in relationships?
Sorry, yeah, I know the answer. Sorry that I had now. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I had to bring it back.
I did have an answer and then I forgot it. Yeah. So I think in terms of a lot of times, I think what ends up leading to midlife crisis is that we sort of grow up and we feel in our mind that there's certain milestones we should be meeting.
Yeah.
And so in a sense, then we do these things because we feel we should be doing them.
Yeah.
Rather than really saying, is this something that I truly want or is this something I've just been conditioned to want?
Okay.
So a lot of times I should get married by a certain age and then I should have children because that's the next progressive step. Then I should have a business. And so it's everything's like a should. And then people realize, actually, I've just been doing these things out of this sort of rule that's not really there.
Yeah.
And I haven't really made my own free choices.
Okay.
And so then usually if I feel like I've been stifled, a lot of times what I'm going to do is just seek the opposite, which is full freedom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to buy my sports car. I'm going to leave my wife. I'm going to have an affair or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And a lot of times after we've done that, then we come back to some middle ground and we sometimes regret what we've done, or we might just find, well, that still doesn't match me, but I'm not going to necessarily do the things that I did initially.
Right. So you think at some point we'll look back and say, oh, I wasn't the best, but it's done.
Well, it's all part of the learning. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely.
And in this process, older men end up with younger women, and older women end up with younger men. So it's happening. So is that also something to do with, is that a bit of a show of ego, or is it something to say that, you know what, I'm getting my life and I have this now, and because these things doesn't happen silently. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of show off in this crisis, as if, you need to have this external validation. Yeah. Is it that part of trying to come out and show who you are?
Possibly. Well, I don't have all the answers first.
Yeah.
So whatever I give
no,
you will
it's
just be my
just
opinion.
a conversation.
Yeah, no worries. It'll just be my opinion on this. So I think overall is that if you're feeling like you've towed the line most of your life, you're going to want to rebel. And rebel might be, for a man in particular, might be, well, I want to, or even a female, I want a younger partner now. I want a partner that makes me feel young again and makes me feel virile and makes me feel strong and energetic. Yeah. And there may be showing off aspect of it. People don't necessarily realize that may be what they're doing. Yes. But what they're wanting to do really is just feel young again, most likely. They're trying to relive their youth because in a sense they feel like they've missed out.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of things why I'm asking is just trying to understand the psychology behind it, because a lot of times we do things not knowing why we do things. And only people with some understanding psychology or awareness can explain. Yeah. That's all it is. And I think the well-educated people in high roles or business owners and all, they're just going with life. Half of the time they're not aware why they're doing it or why they're going into the same cycles. Yeah. And I come across them a lot in my life as well. And it's a fine line. And sometimes you just have to go with it and then do a little nudge by saying, oh, maybe we need to look into this differently. And if the person is open for it, you go into it. Otherwise, it just stops.
Yeah. It feels too threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to nice guys and good guys. So we talked a little bit about nice guys. So what's with good guys? What's the main difference? Instead of people pleasers, what are these guys?
Well, I wouldn't even use the word good guys personally.
Okay.
I'd just say more balanced people.
Balanced, okay.
Because balanced, like every person's going to have their good elements and bad elements.
Yes.
And it's like, how far do I push it? How self-aware am I within this relationship that I let my sort of bad aspects take over?
Yeah.
Or can I be aware enough to say, yeah, I know they're there, but this is the way I'd rather choose to go here.
Yeah.
But it is also finding your own boundaries about what you're willing to give, but also what you're willing to keep for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't lose yourself in a relationship because it won't last if you lose yourself.
Yes.
And if you just don't give anything at all, then the relationship still won't last.
Yes. Yeah.
So it is about finding that balance. And I think that's really where you said those healthy boundaries are.
Yeah.
And I'd say that would be what just any healthy relationship is, whether you're a good guy or a good lady or a good person. I think that's just what the important part is in a relationship.
So basically, in a relationship, if you're not able to express those boundaries, I'll just give a simple example. Let's say a couple want to go out, and I'll give both sides so that we're fair to both genders. The man looks at his wife or girlfriend and says, hey, we're going for a nice dinner. That outfit is just too revealing. I'm not comfortable. Can you change? That's one scenario. The other one is the girl, the female, is well presented, and the guy wants to go with a Bing-Tang t-shirt or, something completely undermines what she's also doing. How do you express here from both angles? Because it's, once again, I do see this as it seems so simple, but it has become such a problem to even talk about it. Mm-hmm. Because in a relationship, one should be able to say, and I don't know how these things are communicated. It depends on both people. But how can you break? Is there a psychology behind how do you address where you're not 100% comfortable, whether it's clothing or it's behavior or could be anything? How can the individual express that without feeling disrespected?
Yeah, well, I think the first step is if I'm uncomfortable with something,
Yeah.
that's saying something internally about me first.
Okay.
So if I'm saying that dress is too revealing, am I actually saying I'm really scared someone's going to try to hit on you?
Okay.
Am I thinking that you maybe look too promiscuous because I learned that wearing a dress like that is for someone who's only promiscuous?
Yeah.
I'm scared that you're going to leave me.
Yeah.
So there might be a lot of thinking patterns and belief patterns that are driving that. So without actually understanding that, then just expressing and saying, no, that's too revealing.
Yeah.
Then you're not actually addressing your own imbalances. You're just projecting your own imbalances out.
Okay. Yeah.
So when you feel maybe more confident and stable in yourself,
Yeah.
as an example, you might say, well, yeah, I don't prefer that dress. I think another dress would look better.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be necessary for that dress to be changed just for you to be comfortable.
Okay. Yeah. So there's two approaches. One is, again, internalize why that coming up. And the second one is actually expressing it.
Yeah, but expressing it from a more clear place internally rather than just from your own conditioned imbalances.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So basically, it's a lot of these things happen in the heat of the moment. We don't have time to even reflect or all those things. And then sometimes it's too late. You ruin the evening.
Sure. Yeah, ruin the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's never too late to reflect after that. These things, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a willingness to take ownership of yourself later, and then, all right, this is what happened to me. This is why I said that.
Yeah.
And when you can both do that, because everyone's going to bring their own imbalances into a relationship. So if one partner's allowed to do it, then the other partner's going to happen themselves eventually.
Yeah.
So the more we can have those honest conversations about, oh, this is why I felt triggered, this is what was going on in my mind,
Yeah.
because it's going to happen equally, or at least equally.
True. So with all these adults trying to understand themselves and, the busy lives we all have, what is the impact of adults' behavior on kids?
Generally, adults are most likely going to project their own imbalances onto their children, mostly.
Okay, yeah.
So their own belief pattern. So if I'm embarrassed to make noise and disturb people, then if my children make noise, I say, no, don't do that. So a lot of times that will be one of the options.
Yeah.
The other option is we sometimes go the opposite.
Totally opposite.
Yeah, so I'm a people pleaser, so I say, no, I've got to teach you how to never be a people pleaser. You just worry about yourself and don't think about anyone else.
Okay.
So the less we know our own emotions and our own responses, the more likely we're just going to teach them to those around us unconsciously. And
Right.
with a child, what we usually do is we'll either take it on board or we'll either do the opposite.
Okay. So does it differ before teen to post-teen?
It can. Usually from 0 to 7 is where the foundations are laid
Yeah,
with the core beliefs.
Yeah.
Then usually from there it can either just intensify, and then it can change at any time, and really it can change by choice. Like everyone's an individual, we're not stuck in our conditioning.
Yes. Yeah.
But we are generally going to copy or follow what we see. Part of humans, what we want to do is we want to actually feel included. It's an evolutionary thing. We want to feel part of the herd.
Yeah.
Our herd is usually our family.
Yeah.
So for us to survive, a lot of the times what we do is we try to adapt to our family.
Okay. Yeah.
And whether it's ridiculous what they're believing or seeing, it doesn't matter, because the child doesn't know the difference between that, but we'll just adapt to that and take that on board because that makes us feel included.
So basically you're saying before 7 years, there's a lot of things the kid actually consciously or subconsciously taking on board.
Yeah, just generally unconsciously absorbing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then where does this black sheep in the family comes? Because there's always one odd ones.
Yeah.
And I've been called black sheep of my family many times, and I was called that only last night once again. Yes. Just to remind who I am. So where does this black sheep thing comes?
Well, what we'll find is that we've got our, I guess, like I said, we've got our soul part of us that's also pulling us in certain directions.
Okay.
So if I'm being taught to be really, really quiet, but internally my soul is a very loud, gregarious person, then sometimes I just can't deny that no matter how hard I try. Right, so I'm just my true self is going to come out no matter what.
Is there a timeline for that, or it's all because it's a little bit, you can feel all those rebelness and stuff, let's say in the teenage time, early 20s and stuff. Either you say, that's who I am, and then take a path, or can that happen at the later stage in life as well?
It can definitely happen later. A lot of times it will happen as teens, but as teens what usually happens is we go the complete opposite again. Yeah. So in teens we're like, well, you want me to look this way, I'm going to dye my hair blue and wear and be a gothic. So so a lot of times as teens we will rebel, but we'll do it sort of excessively. Okay. But there is no real time frame in general. So we can discover that at any given moment. We can discover where I'm kind of muting who I truly am based on my conditioning. Yeah. So that's the whole point of why we're having this discussion. So people can have awareness now. They don't have to be kids to change it from there. True. Yeah. So we can do that at any time.
Anytime. Nice. That's good to hear. Recently, I don't know, also this is more to do with teenagers, especially men, boys, going into these gangs to feel belonging. And I think it was in Victoria a few weeks ago. The numbers were shocking, where they found 880 cases of, kind of machete violence and all these kind of things. And I read in one article where it says a lot of this is happening from dysfunctional families, or families where both parents are not available. And it's getting bigger and bigger. And I think last year, this was in Queensland, and now it's happening in Victoria. So it seems like it's continuing. And what's the message, or let's say, what's if A concerned parent comes to you and says, yeah, we're okay. The relationship is okay, but not great. How can I stop my teenage, let's say, boy or a girl to completely lose out of sight? What can they do? What's the psychology? Understanding these, those moments a teenager goes.
Yeah, it's not always an easy scenario, particularly as a teenager, because teenagers, they generally want to push you away, even when they love you.
Yes.
Even when they're close to you, they still want to push you away.
Yeah.
So someone who feels like they don't belong or might be angry about something, they're likely to pull further away from that.
Yeah.
As much as possible, it's loving them. That would be the first step. And I know that's not always easy when they're doing things that you're concerned about.
Yeah.
The thing would be, how can we sort of emphasize with them a sense of belonging? If really what they're seeking externally is a sense of belonging, how can we bring that internally? A lot of times the sense of belonging would also be indicating maybe the teenager has self-esteem issues, that they feel that they need to belong. We can't really force people to go get treatment and understand those things.
Yes.
So a lot of the times it would be having to do that on a slower basis, particularly with a teenager that's not willing to take ownership or accountability for how they are.
Yeah.
But the more loving and supportive we can be without making them seem like they're the problem or a problem, because the more they feel like, oh, you got to go see someone because you've got problems, the more likely they're going to feel judged and not belong in that family.
Yes.
So it's kind of it ends up being a bit of chicken and egg, a little conundrum in there.
Yeah.
So it is more of a slower process generally, I'd say.
So being available might be a good thing. Like a lot of times, I think our time to the kids have reduced. Maybe giving more time, parents giving more time to the kids might give that little trust to say, I have my dad or mom or, even uncle, whoever it is.
Yeah. So just building the relationship and just improving the good parts of the relationship rather than maybe trying to target the bad parts straight away. True.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. As a father to a teenager. With all this stuff, the psychology behind the purpose. These days, there's a lot of search for purpose, whether it's relationships, whether it's career, whether it's finance and all these things. Yes, you might say it's the spirit and the soul and stuff, but people are genuinely looking for purpose. They're really searching. Is purpose something it comes to us, or we need to look for it?
Firstly, as far as I'm aware, there doesn't need to be any purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose is to just live.
Just to turn up.
Well,
just get up.
Our job is to live. Then what I usually say is, how do I live most aligned to myself?
Yeah.
How do I live most aligned to myself? How do I live a life that feels truest to me, that makes me feel most fulfilled?
Yeah.
And it might be that I just do my garden every day, and that's okay.
Yeah.
A lot of times in society, what we say, to have purpose, you have to give to others, or you have to volunteer your time, or you have to work really, really hard and become famous, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So purpose can be those things. It doesn't have to be. It can be really simple. It could be my purpose that I feel is just raising my kids and keeping myself happy.
True. Yeah.
Usually, if we make anything too external our purpose, eventually we'll lose our own happiness, and then that will have to be our purpose again, because we don't like being unhappy.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, ourselves and living our truth is our purpose.
So just living life is already a big purpose.
Yeah.
So the purpose can be just being existence, breathing, and able to experience. That's it. Anything else is almost a bonus.
Yeah. And anything else is about how do I bring what I am into the world?
Yeah. Okay. That's good. From the relationship aspect, faith and religion plays a big role, whether to keep the family or break the family. I could be wrong, but based on the cultures we look into, the religious cultures, for example, India has less than 5% of divorce rates. It doesn't mean they're all having a happy relationship, We all know that. But something in the name of religion or God or faith, whatever it is, it keeps them together and it has its benefits. And then we come to the other side, other spectrum. No religion, no morals. I don't want to follow anything, anyone. Freedom. And in that process, I don't want to go through this because this person is not good for me. And then that's where the breakups and all these things happen. So what do you think of the impact of faith and religion in relationship?
I think sometimes it can be beneficial, and I think sometimes it can be a hindrance. I think sometimes, religion or faith can keep someone in an environment that's not healthy for them, not safe for them.
Yeah.
And they worry about being shunned externally, so they stay somewhere because of those reasons.
Yeah.
I think sometimes if you have no beliefs at all, sometimes you don't have anything sort of, you might just say, well, I'm just unhappy, so I'm leaving straight away. So you don't actually have any sort of pause before actually choosing your actions.
Yeah.
So I think overall, either way, it's about getting to know yourself again. Like, I don't know why we say that,
Yeah.
but I think it's getting to know myself. Am I in a situation where it's actually serving me to be here? Even if maybe religion is saying to be here, it might not be serving me.
Yeah.
Or even in the scenario here where I just feel like I want to leave, if I'm craving freedom,
Yeah.
it might be, well, actually, is that just an issue I have internally? Am I just going to bring that to the next relationship because all I do is crave freedom, and every time I'm in a relationship, I feel like I lose my freedom?
Yeah. Thank you for listening, Chat with Loki. Follow and subscribe for more wisdom from everyday heroes.